Yo, what's going on guys? Jared here. Today I'm going to be showing you a deck profile for a deck that I actually talked about in a community post that I made a couple of weeks ago, which was White Forest. This was a deck I was really excited for, especially it was looking very good post-ban list. With the way that the format was before, the ban list did not seem targeted at White Forest at all, so it seemed like a great opportunity to get the cards. This seemed like it has a real chance to actually push through the metagame with if we were assuming that Yubel and Snake Eye was going to get hit. Little do we know that Yubel and Snake Eye were going to, well, Snake Eye got more of a hit. Yubel got a little bit of a slap on the wrist, so that deck is still a struggle. But White Forest is still really strong and really good. Now, I'm not going to say that my build is standard by any means, and it's something that I actually want your help to work on, because a lot of this stuff feels very awkward, and I don't really know how to describe it. I went 3-1 at locals today with the list I'm going to show you. It's very weird. It's not like a standard White Forest list. It's not toy White Forest. It's actually White Forest, Fiendsmith, Millennium. There's a lot of stuff going on here, but the actual lines are pretty cool. I think they're pretty unique, and I think they're at least worth looking into overall. They were way better before the ban list because you were able to do stuff with Appaloosa, insulating your White Forest lines, which was very, very cool. But yeah, obviously we don't have that luxury anymore, so here we are with what we have. So if you guys enjoy, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you have any suggestions, I would really appreciate it down below, especially in this video, because this deck is so complicated and there's so many avenues you can take and either other engines you can play in this deck. So any help would be appreciated at all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this deck. Okay guys, so like I said, I went X1 at locals with this deck today. I'm just calling it White Forest, but again, there's White Forest, Millenniums, and Fiendsmith in here. So whatever you want to call that, that's what this is. So very briefly, the White Forest package is probably the biggest, and I would say like the main part of the deck. So we have 3 copies of LZ, 3 copy of the L Stellar, the level, both three copies of each level 2 tuner, or non-tuner, I mean, and then 1 of each level 4, and then 1 of each spell or trap. I actually thought I was going to miss more of these cards, and then I came to realize, no, I'm not, because I drew the 4s a lot today, and I was very tired of it very quickly. So overall, this ratio is actually pretty good. I liked it. I don't think I would change it. This is like the only main normal summon of the deck here is this and this. So realistically, we only have like 4 cards that are dedicated normal summons, which I like a lot. So we're not going to be bricking on cards that we can't really do anything with, which is very, very good, of course. Woes is a crazy trap card, and yeah. So moving on, we have like a bit of a little package to help get to the White Forest cards, whoopsie, which is actually Destrudo. Play 3 copies of Destrudo in here, and for anybody who saw my previous video with the reversal quiz FTK in the previous format, this was actually a key piece that you can use in that combo. And I actually used that combo's template to essentially come up with this deck and move forward with it, right? Like there's different combo lines with that start up to a combo, and you can end on some pretty cool boards. So Destrudo, the reason it's in here is it bridges to your White Forest lines. How it bridges to your White Forest lines is through the Millennium cards. So we have 3 copies of the Seng Engine, 2 copy of the Golem, 1 copy of the Shield, 1 copy of the Ankh, and then 2 copies of the Temple. So these ratios are a bit like wacky. They might seem like it, but I actually like these ratios a lot. I'm playing the heavier Millennium. I don't think I would go heavier than this. This is like probably where I'd want to keep it. Seng Engine is always a card I feel like you want to see. It's the best one to see. The Golem is like, okay, Golem gets you to Temple, Temple gets you to Seng Engine, and Seng Engine gets you to Shield, so it still does the full line, so this one's fine too. Just a little bit worse than Golem in my opinion. These are the worst ones to see, which is Temple and Shield, but as long as you can get the Golem and Shield, that's like the 2 main 2, this is just the best starter of them. But the 5 and the 6 are the important part, because when you have the 5 and the 6, you are able to use Destrudo to target the level 6 Golem to special summon it out, and then that will put Destrudo as a level 1 tuner. Then you can synchro with the Destrudo and the Shield of the Millennium Dynasty to go into your generic White Forest synchro, and then you're able to use the effect to send either the field spell or the Ankh that you search off the Shield as well, to get your White Forest plays going. So it actually comes together really, really nicely and sets it up for a really nice White Forest bridge or extender. Other stuff that we have was the Fiendsmith engine. So as I said, we have 3 copies of Engraver, 1 copy of Worry, and 1 copy of Tract. That's it. Not really crazy here. You really go into this through Moon most of the time, but it's also just like a nice extension piece if you draw Engraver or Tract. You don't really care too much. Like, they're perfectly fine cards to draw. It's, yeah, perfectly fine. And then lastly, as like a quote-unquote engine piece, is the 1 Angel Statue Azaroon, because we are playing the Silhouette Rabbit Hat in this build. It was okay. I really don't have anything crazy to say about this card. It was fine. Like, I don't know. I didn't really use it a lot. It really probably didn't need to be here. It maybe came up like once or twice, so yeah, it's fine. For non-engine, we have 3 copies of Nib, 3 copies of Veiler, 3 copies of Ash, and 3 copies of Imperm. Very standard. This is just nothing crazy. Very boring. Just like beginning of the format, general stuff. No one at this local was playing Yubel or anything like that, so we didn't have to worry about anything too crazy there, which was pretty nice. But yeah, so that's it for the main deck. Again, it looks pretty wonky, I know, but I promise you, there is some cool lines, and I might show you a combo after this, so that you guys can get a general idea of how this deck can work. For the extra deck, we have 3 copies of each, well, 1 of each of the White Forest Synchros. That's really all you need. Then we have the Fiendsmith package, which takes up a lot of cards. So we have Requiem, Sequence, Moon, Caesar, Necroquip, and Desiree. Yeah, this is fine. Again, like, it's 6 slots, but realistically, we don't really need a lot for this deck because the Whitewood package is so compact. So the rest of it we can fill with what's left of generic extra deck stuff. So we have IP Masquerena, SP Little Knight, Silhouette Habit, Nightmare Phoenix, Selene Queen of Magicians, and then Access Code. Selene was also just in here for Apo, but because of Access Code, it's still fine. We can use the White Forest cards that are spellcasters to be able to Selene for Access Code for easy access, which is very, very nice. Obviously, IP and SP is really good. Silhouette Habit's good interruption. Like, these are all good interruptions, but none of them are like too crazy overall. They're very like tame interruptions. This, I guess, would be the way I want to put it. So that is it for the extra deck. For the side deck, very quickly, I'm not going to explain these very much, but it was just Magnemite, 2 Druis, 3 Baldrake, 3 Cosmic, Duster, 3 Judgment, Skill Drain, Anti-Spell. It's just like a pretty standardized side deck, I feel like, for now. Nothing really too much to explain here. Like, Bishield's just in here in case Yubel was around. Back or removal, going first cards, very simple. So yeah, that's it for the deck. I want to actually get to a combo so you guys can see the interactions that I'm talking about and maybe get some kind of gist if you did not see that reversal quiz video, because I think it's actually really, really cool. Okay guys, so for simplicity's sake, let's just say this is our hand. We have Sengenjin, Destrudo, and 3 copies of Ash Blossom just as a starting hand. So obviously these are the main parts of the combo. This is just one line. Obviously there was a cajillion lines in this deck with how many engines are in here, but this is just the most standard line that I can possibly think of to show you, with at least showing the cool interactions of the deck. So to start off, you're going to go Sengenjin effect to summon itself. Obviously you're going to pay 2,000. Then you're going to grab Golem. Golem's going to go in the back row. Golem effect, again, pay 2,000. And then that is going to search your Ouija Temple. You're going to activate your Ouija Temple. And then you're going to put out the Ash Blossom into the Spell and Trap Zone. So this is like any monster, really. It's not that big of a deal, whichever one it is. And you're going to put out Shield. And then you're going to summon the Shield effect to grab out the Fiend's, Millennium Ankh. From here, this is where you are able to use Destrudo's effect, targeting the Golem to make Destrudo a level 1 tuner. So we can put level 1 here. So this is a level 1 tuner. Now we are actually able to synchro off the Destrudo and the Shield. So we can put this back. And we can summon out our White Forest Synchro Monster, because she is completely generic and she does not care what materials are used. On summon, we can use her effect, send away this Ash Blossom that is considered a spell or trap, and then we can add either our Esteller as for a normal summon, or if we use a different normal summon, we can add the Elzet. There's really, there is different lines for each one. For this one, I'm just going to specifically add the Esteller. I think that's just a little bit easier. So from here, we were able to normal summon the Esteller. Stellar effect, we still have this Ouija Temple here that we can send away. So send that away, and then we are able to add our Sylvie, and then we can use our Sylvie's effect, and that's going to give us access to our Woes of the White Forest. From here, we are able to synchro the Esteller with the synchro, so that we are able to go into our Diabels. So we have this locked up for the for our opponent's turn, and then Diabell's effect is going to add back the Ouija Temple. But obviously we're not done yet because we still have a lot of extra bodies over here that we haven't done anything with, along with the woes that we can set for later. But we already have a pretty good setup going, as you can see, which obviously really good. Big fan of it. So from here, you're able to do a couple different things. You have like generic access things you can go into, but for now, we're just going to keep it pretty simple. We are going to use the Sengenjin and the Sylvie. We can use those to go into Moon, but again, you are able to go into things such as, let's say, like level 10 synchros, because these are level 4 tuners, right? So we can use like this and this to go into a 10 synchro. Obviously, I'm not playing that in this build, but it's just an option that you can do. From here, I'm just going to grab Requiem effect, grab out a Fiendsmith engraver. You have a couple options that you can do here. For now, we're going to use Requiem effect to equip, send it away, summon Necroquip, and then we are able to shuffle back to summon back out the Fiendsmith engraver. From here, again, you have a couple options. We can go into Caesar, we can go into Sequence if you wanted to, we can go into Silhouette Habit, IP Masquerena. So you have a couple lines of, you know, alternative things that you can do. But for here, we'll just go into, we'll just turn these two into the DDD for now. And then we can set the woes, and we can just pass with that. And that is more than enough for now. Now, this is very simple, but this is also only coming from a Destrudo. This isn't coming from actual Fiendsmith engine or Whitewood engine. This is coming from Millennium and Destrudo, which is something that I think is very unique because you're bridging these archetypes together that really don't have much of a bridge. Obviously, Fiendsmith being the easier one with access to Moon, but the White Forest being able to bridge them together, I think, is really difficult for a lot of decks. Now, there is other options, like just as an example, if we go back a little bit, so if we take this back, we go all the way back, put the engraver back, all the Fiendsmith stuff, and we go back to where we had these two, and then we want to go way back. All of these are going to go back. Take this back, put this back, this, and here. So what you can do from way in the beginning is you should be at this point, if I remember correctly, normal summon, send, get Sylvie. So instead of doing this line where you normal summon sent for Sylvie, when you resolve this card, you are actually able to grab the Elza instead, and kind of do a similar path here, right? You can do the LZ to get the extra body, and now because you have it normal summon, you can use this level 2 to grab the other level 2, and this gives you the extra body that maybe you were looking for that end phase. I want to show you how it changes the end board just a little bit. So you can do the LZ to grab the Stellar, use the Stellar effect. You can send like the Millennium Ankh here, or I'm sorry, can't do that yet. You have to make room, so you can use the LZ and the level 6 synchro, then go into Diabell's effect, get back the temple, and then now you can use the Estelle effect, do that, and then you can get the Sylvie. Now you can do Sylvie effect to be able to grab the woes, so now you have woes access, and again, you can do a very similar thing that you were doing before, which is going into your Fiendsmith line, again, Necroquip, Requiem into the DDD Caesar. I'm just going to put it here, because that's pretty much what it's going to lead to. So you get to Caesar here, but now on top of this, you're able to turn these two into an extra body. So this could be something either as IP Masquerena or Silhouette Habit Rabbit. So I'm going to do this one just as the IP Masquerena, because I think it might be a little bit better still, because it's multiple interruptions, just for as this example. But again, keep in mind, there are end boards where you have so many extra bodies that you can actually have like this and this on the field, which is crazy because you get so much like generic interrupts. It's pretty hard to deal with. So overall, this is pretty roughly what you end with. This wouldn't be here. I don't know why that's there. It's something similar to this, because now you have the extra IPS Masquerena, which is an interruption, and it lets you use the body on your opponent's turn. When you use Diabell's, you can send the Millennium Ankh that you have in your hand to be able to summon the Silvera. And then, of course, When they do more, after you book a mood once, you're able to use the woes to summon a level 2. You're also able to, don't forget, if you use Diabel, you do also get back the Estelra to the field. You get the LZ to your hand. You use woes, you can get another level 2. So we can summon out like a different Esteller. And then we are also able to chain one of the guys in the graveyard, the Sylvie in the graveyard, put back the Silvera, and then synchro it back into it again. So then you get to like a position like this. Then you can use DIP to synchro with this extra body to then go into Little Knight. So you have a lot of good moving motions here. You have both of these still on the field for the double piercing, along with the DDD, along with the extra cards in hand, with follow-up coming in. Yeah, it's just a lot. Like, you have a lot going on here. So overall, let me know what you guys think. There's just a lot of interaction here that you can work with. Another interaction that I didn't even mention before I end the video was when you have like Fiendsmith on the field, especially off of a Requiem that you used, you are able to use the Requiem equip to use stuff like the LZ in the hand to be able to send it to the graveyard to trigger her. So you can just like use her like all without normal summon, right? Like, so let's say it's like tracked for Lurie for Engraver, Engraver Requiem, or Requiem for Engraver. Equip the Requiem with the effect, then you have this in hand, and then you can use this to send this. And it's the same thing because you didn't use your normal summon. You're able to grab something like the Esteller, and then even later on, you can do like another link and then go in the sequence and then do a similar thing again later and equip sequence to then be able to, excuse me, to send away. So the Fiendsmiths also, on top of being like extenders, work as spell and trap sends for the Whitewoods too. So again, there's a lot of like weird synergies with these and just a lot of good extensions. So overall, I think it's pretty cool and something different. So let me know what you guys think down below. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Again, I think the extra deck could definitely be improved upon, but yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. So overall, I hope you guys enjoyed something different, and subscribe if you did. But without further ado, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.